All right, it looks like it's 11:33, so we'll kick off our meeting today. Welcome to the April 12th meeting of the Oak Park Rotary Club. I am Jamia Haynes, current club president-elect, and I want to welcome you here today on this Monday. Clayton, will you lead us in our invocation?
I will. Let's pray. Blessed are you, Lord of creation. We celebrate this beautiful new season of spring after a harsh and cold winter and the continuation of a debilitating pandemic. So we are grateful this day. We're especially grateful for our Rotary Club. We're grateful for our Rotary Club Foundation and all that we have to do good. Help us put service above self, as there's so many needs around our city and our county and our state, our nation, and our world. Challenge us to plant more trees and gardens to sustain our environment. And remind us of those who continue to suffer due to this COVID pandemic, that each one of us will reach out in concern and care. Now bless our meeting today, we pray. Amen.
Thank you. All right, please stand as you're able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America
and to the
republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
All right, visitors. Lori, I think you have a visitor to introduce today.
I do have a visitor to introduce, and I'm kind of embarrassed, though, because I've met with this visitor, and we talked about all kinds of wonderful things, but I forgot to ask him how to pronounce his last name. So when I'm done introducing him, I'll ask him to share how to pronounce his last name. So I can see him down about 4 boxes and off to the right. Travis is the owner of Exercise Therapy of Kansas City, the Pain-Free Life Program. Hey, Travis. And he is visiting for the first time today, our Rotary, and he's checking out different Rotaries. Travis, how do you say your last name? You're on mute.
Parrot, like the bird. It's spelled
Parrot.
different, but it's pronounced parrot.
Okay, there we go. So there's Travis. Everyone say hello, and he'll check us out, and then we'll see if he wants to join as a member.
Very good. Well, welcome, Travis. We're glad to have you with us today. Any other visitors with us today? All right, we'll move on to club and committee updates. Foundation, Tim, did you have anything today?
Yeah, we have a busy April. We have our final reviews for our scholarships, for our Interact scholarships, and we have decisions for spring grants. So by the end of this month, we'll have some exciting announcements to the club.
Great. Thank you. Membership committee. Well, we have an exciting day today for membership because we have a new member that's being inducted, Razvir Mustan. And please tell me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Razvir. Today he is formally going to be inducted today. I guess the Zoom format kind of changes our induction. It's not very ceremonious these days, but we'll get back to that at some point. But Razvir, we're glad to have had you join us over the last month or so, or a couple months or so, and we're glad to have you as a member. Welcome.
Hey.
Service projects. Anything to share in that regard?
We are 2 weeks away from Earth Day. Shawnee Mission School District for trees. 2 weeks from Saturday are going to be planting 200 trees. So now is the time. If there's anybody in the club who hasn't purchased a $75 tree sponsorship, now is the time. The address and payee is on the e-spoke. And while I have the floor, now is the time to support your Overland Park Rotary Club with a donation to the Rotary International Foundation. It's critical because fiscal year end is coming up June 30th, and we need to have an average of $100 per member. So that means that if certain members don't contribute, other members have to contribute more. Our club needs to raise approximately $10,000 in order to be a star club. This is really important. Please consider donating generously to the Rotary International Fund. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Those are important announcements. I would add to the club announcements by letting you know that we are in need of speakers. We are booked through April, but need speakers for May and June. And we have heard from some of you with ideas, so keep them coming. Patrick, you can facilitate that with Patrick and you can get them on our list. We'd love to have anyone that you might come to mind that you think we might be interested in. So keep that in mind. I would also let you know that we are booked for Roe Park on May 10th and May 24th on the shelter there. So we are going to give that a try. Will and Lori and we meet briefly every week to kind of facilitate each week and what that looks like and keep our plan moving in motion here. And so we're very blessed to have Will and his technical skills. He's going to figure out how all this works. And when we say hybrid, we kind of mean in the sense that so in May, we'll have 2 meetings in person at the shelter at the park, and then we'll have 2 meetings hybrid. Well, the other 2 will be hybrid. So that's how we'll start out. Please be patient with us. And if you have suggestions, I'd love to hear them. We're going to do our best with what we have. So stay tuned for updates on that.
May I ask a question, Janae?
Sure.
Jamea, when we meet for a meeting in the park, do we brown bag it? Do we sit at a picnic table? Are we in a pavilion?
It's a covered shelter and it's large. I told them that it sounds like we'll have plenty of ample space to spread out, and we'll have our meeting at 11:30. And so at just normal time. And we actually have the space reserved from 10:30 to 2:30. So
okay.
FYI on that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Any other club or committee updates to share?
Yeah, I might make one more that I forgot. The foundation, this has been in the e-spoke, but the foundation did make a $5,000 contribution to Polio Plus. And we timed that so that it basically was a 6 times match.
Woo!
So we're pretty excited about the impact that will have. And it will also have a reach for the pandemic as well. These efforts hopefully not only promote polio vaccination, but there are efforts for COVID vaccinations as well. So it's a great impact, and I'm really excited that the club was able to do this.
Absolutely, me too. Great, thank you, Tim, and thank you to everybody. Well, we have some birthdays this week. Chad King and Richard Webdell had birthdays yesterday, so happy birthday. Anniversaries, Scott and Brooke Robinson celebrated 8 years. So happy anniversary to you too. And nothing this year for Years in Rotary, not this week. We'll see about next week. Carol, did you have anything else to add? Any more updates? Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
No news is good news sometimes.
Yes. What about good news? Does anyone have good news to share with us today? We've got a quiet group today. No? All right. Well, we'll move into our breakout sessions. This week, I thought we would talk about an article that comes from this month's Rotary magazine. And I don't, if you're like me, you read through this and some things speak to you and some things really speak to you. And interestingly, the article that spoke to me this time really wasn't super Rotary focused, but I think that it certainly applies to our environment and our world right now. Did anyone read the Big Task, Small Task article in the magazine? It talks about things we have to do, things on our to-do list, and when you do them and why, or why you don't do them if you procrastinate. And it talks about how we put off those big things sometimes because they're just insurmountable. But as you relate it to the COVID situation, and we've been at home for a year, I thought it'd be fun for us to break out in our small groups and talk about maybe a large project you took the opportunity to take on during this time at home, this unprecedented time at home, or something that you're looking forward to doing now that you maybe are getting out a little bit. So let's take a minute and talk about those things. Well, hello and welcome back. We are ready to transition onto our speaker today. Dr. Todd Dain is a principal at Shawnee Mission South High School, and he is here to speak with us about the Tower Garden, which was a recipient of the Overland Park Rotary Foundation grants. So we are anxious to hear about that. I'll read a little bit about Todd here. He has a long list of credentials. In March of 2015, Dr. Todd Dain was named as the 5th principal at Shawnee Mission South High School. Dr. Dain has been involved in education as a teacher, coach, and administrator for over 25 years. He earned his Bachelor of Science degree in secondary education as an English major and physical education minor from Emporia State University. He also holds a Master of Science degree in educational leadership from Emporia State University and earned his doctorate in educational leadership from Baker University. He's been involved with many professional memberships, including Kansas Association of Secondary School Principals and the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development. Dr. Dain came to Shawnee Mission South from Blue Valley School District, where he served as Associate Principal and Activities Director at Blue Valley Southwest High School. Prior to Blue Valley Southwest, Dain served as Administrative Liaison at Olathe Northwest High School, where he was recognized as the ONW Faculty Member of the Year. I will tell you that Dr. Dain has a long list of credentials, but from a personal perspective, I can also tell you that I've had a kid at Shawnee Mission South since 2015, and they both always say that their principal is really cool. So if you have earned that as a high school principal, I think you have done something right. So Todd, welcome. We're glad to have you as our speaker today. With that, I'll transition over to you.
Thank you, Jamia. It's so good to see everyone's faces. I enjoyed the brief discussions in the breakout group, and it's always a gift when I have an opportunity to come and meet with the good people at the Rotary. It's enjoyable to see some familiar faces and old friends, and meet some new ones. So I do have a short presentation to share, and I don't know, Jamia, if I can share my screen or if
I have it, I can pull it up if you just want to talk.
Yeah, if you want to navigate, I'll talk and you can click.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So, as you know, it's been over a couple of years ago now that we were able to forge a partnership with the Rotary, and they were so kind to support our endeavors in diving into learning more about Tower Gardens and using them here with our students at Shawnee Mission South. So through all of this, before the pandemic hit, we were able to get our Tower Gardens in place and kind of get them rolling forward. But if I could back up just a little bit, our plan for using these Tower Gardens is there's a couple different pieces that we've used to navigate this. So, William, if you want to click there. So for us at Shawnee Mission South, we have 2 Tower Gardens that we've installed here at Shawnee Mission South High School. And the first place that we obviously wanted to use these were in the science classrooms, and they're directly tied to our curriculum for our biology classes. All of our freshmen essentially are required to take that biology course. And so that really connects with every student that comes through our doors here at Shawnee Mission South. But we've used them in one biology classroom. And then our environmental science lab, Shawnee Mission South has been the host of the Shawnee Mission environmental science lab for over 50 years now. If you're familiar with the area, it's that area just east of the building, east of the high school, between Shawnee Mission South High School and Topgolf there. And that's our environmental science lab that is really some sacred ground. But our environmental science students thrive here at Shawnee Mission South. And we've taken a hiatus from the state competition for the ecology meet, but the last 4 years. So 4 out of the last 5 years, Shawnee Mission South has been the state champion in the state eco meet challenge that we take part in every year in Salina. And so we're pretty excited about that. And so this is a direct tie into what we do with our environmental science students and our eco meet challenge students as well. We also host several programs here at Shawnee Mission South with our special education programs. And we wanted to use our tower gardens for a springboard for some of the things that those students do with their individual education programs and our life skills students to develop their vocational skills and get them ready for an occupational workforce opportunity. So we go to the next slide. And so just real quick about our special education programs. We're pretty excited about the partnerships that we've been able to forge with our peer mentors and our students who are grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that's freshman through senior. We have students with special needs, and they have a life skills class that they work on fine motor skills and vocational skills. And this provides an opportunity for them to work directly with a lot of their student mentors. There's peer mentors that we have in those classes, and they work to plant, nurture, and harvest those plants on the tower garden. And then at Shawnee Mission South, we also host the special education program for the entire school district for our post-high school students. These are 18 to 21-year-old students who are still working towards their special education goals. And so we use the tower gardens directly for those students to work on their vocational goals that are within their individual education program and plan. And so this year it's been really advantageous because with the pandemic, we weren't able to go to the work sites with all of these students. Normally we have work sites with some nursing homes, some grocery stores, some thrift stores, and a lot of the times those students are able to go out to the work sites to work with those specific programs and those facilities and those needs. And so with the pandemic, especially last fall, those students weren't able to get on a bus and go and travel to those work sites and do that work. And so the Tower Garden provided a real world learning opportunity for those students to work on some vocational skills, harvest those plants, and then distribute and deliver them. They deliver those to staff members who have ordered those through the process. So it's been a great source for us in our special education programs here at Shawnee Mission South. Then in our science classrooms, obviously with our biology classroom, it has been specifically a direct connection to our evolution and genetics units. Students are able to examine how different plants have evolved in their reactions to different environmental conditions. And so we've been able to control some of those. Last fall, when students were hybrid in person and then remote and then back in hybrid, it was hit or miss a little bit on how we could really directly connect that. But moving forward from January on, we've harvested twice now in this year and a half cycle with the Tower Gardens in our biology classroom, and been able to navigate that directly in correlation with the curriculum for evolution and genetics. And then in our environmental science classroom, their ecology units, they use this tower garden to study how these plants react to different controlled stimulus. And so they vary the temperature, the lights, as you can see on the tower, control the amount of light that those plants get on different days, and then the amount of water. And so they've been able to use that as a direct action research piece to a real world lab that they use in the classroom. And so this has been a huge advantage for us, and it's more than benefited our students, it's benefited our staff in what they can do and the harvest that comes off of that. I think there's a picture on the next slide of kind of where we've been. So this year has been difficult for everyone, but the Tower Garden has certainly been a positive through all of that. And currently in biology, we're growing many different plants, including bib lettuce, gourmet lettuce, kale, and basil. And we already have plans in the future to start growing different types of berries and peppers. And the list of requests from staff members that want to harvest the plants and use those in their home recipes is continuing to grow. And we've connected them to our foods classroom, where they've been able to use those in some select dishes. But it's really been a slow process as we've navigated this school year through this pandemic, and it's helped to have students back in person, and when we're not in hybrid, where half of them are coming and half of them are home. But it's been a success so far, and we hope it will continue to grow our programs in addition to growing plants. So thank you so much for all of your support and all that you've done to support Shawnee Mission South and our efforts through this Tower Garden grant that has been really a bright spot through all of these challenges that we've dealt with in the pandemic.
Well, great. Thank you for that presentation. What questions do we have for Todd?
Can you describe exactly how a tower garden works and the time frame that's involved?
Yeah, so it comes with the materials that you put into the tower garden. If you see on those pictures, the tower garden grows and distributes the water, and then it also has the lights that regulate the amount of light that they get during the day. And so the seeds are planted and it grows just like you'd plant seeds in your garden, only it's an indoor cylindrical unit where those plants are in the pods that are grown where the temperature and the water and the light are all regulated and controlled in that environment. And so it's usually a cycle for about 3 months between planting and harvesting. But each one of those plants is a little different in kind of how it works. I think the lettuce has been the hardiest that we've seen that has grown on the tower. But our students are directly involved in the planting and the watering and the irrigation and the light control. And as much as we, as educators, like to be hands-on, we try to stay hands-off and let the students do the work with this. So.
Do you have more than one tower or just the one tower?
Yes, we have 2 towers. So we have one tower that's in our special education classroom, and then one tower that's in our biology classroom. And of course, we have more than one biology classroom, and we have more than one special education classroom, but that's where they're located, and that's how we're using them. Great questions. Any questions that aren't about tower gardens or plants?
Dr. Dain, our Rotary Club has partnered with you on several initiatives, and I think there might be a couple more. Just like to get your comments on our relationship and how we can cultivate our relationship a little bit deeper in the future. Now,
it's been a unique situation, obviously this year with the pandemic, but with our Interact Club, it's been a great start to our partnership with the Rotary and a lot of the volunteering opportunities that our Interact Club has started. And thank you, David, for all of your help in getting that off the ground. It's been difficult to organize volunteering activities during this pandemic. Just like it's difficult to host a home basketball game, it's still the same type of difficulty when we try to host an activity or a volunteer activity opportunity for our students. So all of that has to be regulated with pandemic guidelines and district guidelines and what we work through there. But we're slowly picking up some more speed with our volunteer opportunities and what we have on the horizon with our Interact Club. We've got a few dynamic students that have really worked hard to get some things in place, and we have been directly involved in the SMSD for Trees. I know that there are a lot of schools and a lot of organizations that are part of that volunteer opportunity, but specifically it started with 2 of our students that had an idea 2 years ago. And I said, look, this is bigger than Shawnee Mission South. We need to grow this. And so all of your support of SMSD for Trees is about to happen. And we're super excited about moving forward with that. I just actually worked with our custodian today to lay out the exact locations here at South where they're going to plant trees. And trees are going to be planted across the community. And so that's one of the many offshoots of our partnership that started, David, now 2 or 3 years ago?
We've had a pretty good success with Interact Club and the Youth Academy, but There's a couple more that I just like to bring up. We've done youth exchange with Shawnee Mission East, and while that's on hiatus again for the current year, we would certainly like to do that with Shawnee Mission South. And then the other thing I just wanted to throw out for discussion was the possibility of mentoring. How could we possibly connect with your high school when it comes to mentoring either talented students or maybe at-risk students?
Yeah, absolutely. That would work directly with our VIP program, our volunteer program through the district, and that's vetted through our social worker, Erin Burvey, is one of our social workers, and she handles all of those mentor volunteers and the VIP program that goes through the district level approval. So I think the opportunity to mentor is there. It's obviously everything's different right now with the pandemic and how we navigate things, but that's the process that we go through, and that's how the mentoring. If anyone is interested in mentoring, I would encourage them to contact us here at the school, and Erin Burvey would be your contact point for our VIPs.
Can you spell her last name, please, Ann? Erin?
Erin Burvey, Burvee.
Thank you.
Is she a teacher or a guidance counselor, or?
She's a social worker.
Okay. Ask that question equally for the benefit of you as well as our Rotary Club, because it's an idea. Once our members start thinking about the possibilities, maybe we can put together some interest. That's something that our club can do. We have a lot of retired leaders in the business community, and I think that it would be a perfect fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we've just recently done, our district has just done, is we've added a counselor at each of the 5 high schools. And this counselor specifically is a real world learning counselor that is the target for their job is to connect with career opportunities and operations in the business world, in the community, with our articulated credit programs at Johnson County Community College and other secondary education programs. So we're excited about this new position. There's going to be one at each of the 5 high schools, and this is an additional counselor that we've added with that specific job description. So in fact, we just finalized that at the board meeting last week. And so we're excited to move forward with our new counselor in that role. And I think this is a great opportunity to springboard that moving forward.
Dr. Dain, this is Janae Hanslick. I'm really excited about this idea of a real world counselor, because to follow up on what David Austin was saying, something our club used to do when we held or summer leadership camp for high school students was we would have a morning where it was kind of like a speed dating, but various members of our club would put themselves around the room, and then the students would have a few minutes with each of those people. They'd have their bios and information in advance, and it was truly the most popular part of that camp experience. And perhaps that's something we could talk with your new real world counselor about offering. It kind of gives the students a chance to talk with people who may be doing some of the things that they'd like to do and learn how they might move in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all in on that. I think that's a great opportunity. And you know, those of you that have known me for a few years know that that's a big part of my profile and the background that I've come from. So I think anytime that we can connect our youth with those community opportunities and understanding how they can navigate all the options that they have for them after high school, And it's not necessarily a 4-year liberal arts college education that is the best path for everyone. And I think those connections with the community and the career opportunities and how they get from point A to point B are very important. And so I'm all in on that, and love to connect you with our real world learning counselor and hopefully set something up for the future.
Great, thank you.
We're still doing what we call RILA, which is Rotary Youth Leadership Academy. And currently we have 2 Shawnee Mission South underclassmen that are that are in the application stage. And we're looking at that as a precursor for leadership within the Interact Club. So hopefully they can connect, but that's only 2 slots. We have the capacity to sponsor possibly 5 or 6 students from South. So we'd like to encourage you to think about maybe participating a little bit more deeply in that program. That's a very successful program. So it's 1 week in July, and they're returning for the benefit of the club. They're returning to an in-person format as well as also having a virtual option. So that's coming up in July.
Todd, I want to thank you for coming today, and I want to give just a reminder to the club about the work of our foundation. We've had a lot of great opportunities to work with your high school and great students, both with the scholarships that we're offering for the Interact students this year, which is a first, and these are in memory of Senator Dick Bond. So just a shout out to the club that we've got some great work together. I'm really proud. This grant that we offered for the Tower Gardens is an example. The funding that our foundation has provided for the tree project. So there's been a lot of different things that I feel like we partnered, and we're really excited about it, especially in the ability to foster leadership in the next generation. And David's been instrumental in much of this. So thank you also to David.
Todd, this is Barb Kopak-Hill talking to you. We met in our small group, and as a former high school principal, recuperating high school principal, I might tell you. One of the things that we do not have represented in our Rotary Club is an educational leader such as yourself. And I would encourage you to think about, I know it is an hour out of your week, and your week is very, very squeezed, but the amount of networking that you could do on behalf of the students and the teachers in your school would be tremendous. So consider perhaps joining our Rotary Club.
I'll be your sponsor.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. I can't. I honestly am missing lunchroom supervision right now. So I can tell you right now, I can't commit to every Monday.
It's a tough time to get away. Well, you have a lot of lunch hours nowadays too.
I know it.
Well, Dr. Dain has every evening this week booked too. It's a very busy time for principals.
It sure is. Well, as everyone has stated, we definitely value this partnership and look forward to where it will go in the future. And we're glad to hear about how these grants are being put in action in our schools and our community. So thank you, Todd, for being with us today and sharing with us.
Thank you again for having me, and thank you for supporting Shawnee Mission South.
Absolutely. All right, next week, KDOT Deputy Secretary Lindsay Douglas will be with us to discuss Highway 69 improvements. So look forward to that. Let's close. We're starting our 4-way test.
May, before you do that, yep. I had on my calendar that there was a happy hour tomorrow afternoon. Is that still on?
Yes. Is Mike with us today? That was his event. I don't see him here today, but yes, I think that there was details in the e-spoke that he had invited folks out to gather. If you're that sounds good to you. And so I'm not sure what the weather will be like tomorrow, but hopefully it'll be amenable to people getting together.
Being a happy hour fan, I had to bring that up. So.
Sure. Of course. We can't forget happy hour. Anything else? All right. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better
friendships?
Will it be beneficial
to all
concerned?
Thank you for joining us today. Have a happy Monday and a good week. We'll talk to you next week.